Chapter 25 is the last speech of Iyov's friends. We'll have many more chapters, but this is the last one of his friends. Vayan Bildad, Hashuchi Vayomar. Bildad, Eliphaz gets 3, and Bildad gets 3, and so far only gets 2. And what does Bildad say? Hamishel v'facharimo, oseh shalom bimromav. Dominion and dread are God's. He imposes peace in the heights. Phrase, right? We know that one. Oseh shalom bimromav. It's stated a lot of times at the end of prayers, like appended to the end of Kaddish, to the end of the right Shemona Esrei, because ultimately shalom is the great blessing that that we would want, and we put it in the end, whether it's peace, God makes peace in His world. How much more so in our world? There isn't fighting, we could say, between the angels. Creation stories about the first day God does, right? It's like one day God does the heaven, then the earth, and the heavens, then the earth, and on the right, then the end of God's creation is man, both the heaven and the earth. So everything is equal. God makes shalom bimromav, and we ask God to make shalom, right? Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Interesting. You can put those two verses, the two half of the verses together. You could say, how do you make peace? Through fear and dread. We learned about Eliyahu Hanavi, his fear and dread and vinegar. He would have gotten more, right? Would have gotten more bees with honey than vinegar. But that's what this verse says here. And obviously, Oseh Shalom Bimromav, we want peace. So, or you could take it the other way. Both he has dominion and dread, and he has peace. God has both of these things. Peace comes through kindness and goodness, dominion and dread or something else. But God has both, Iyov. So stop saying what you have. Continue verse 3. Hayesh mispar dudav v'almi lo yakum orehu. Can his troops be numbered? On whom does his light not shine? God is in charge of everything. Iyov, you were telling us, if you had a court case with God, you would certainly win that court case. You would be golden. It would be perfect. That can't be. A man can't be right before God. How can one born of a woman be cleared of guilt? This is not a sexist, anti-female remark. Women are the birthers. It's talking about something that is not eternal, as opposed to God, which is eternal, which is forever. So how can a child, how can a human being that was born, that was created by humans, be able to defeat God? Even the moon is not bright, and the stars are not pure in His sight. Even the moon and the stars, right? Nothing can keep up with God. God is perfection, and God is all knowing, and God is all powerful, and God is dread and dominion, and God is peace and is over everything. How much less a man who is just a worm, a man who is a maggot. So Iyov, you can't possibly be right. Don't tell us you're right and God's wrong. And no, don't tell us that, because it cannot possibly be true. You cannot compare God. You cannot say that you were right. Now, what's just one comment about this chapter is why it's so short. And so many of the commentaries say it's more modern commentaries than ancient commentaries, but they say the friends are done. Either they've given up because they know they can't convince Iyov, or they've said, that's it. I'm done. There's nothing more for me to say. It's a mic drop, as one would say today, right? I've said my part. We've said our part, and we are done. And therefore, this chapter is a short chapter. Iyov, anything you say has to be wrong, because you are like us, not you, and we're any better, but we are worms. We are maggots. You think you can win in court. You can't win in court. And so we're done with our arguments. We've won the case, and we can't convince you, or we just have nothing more to say, whatever the reason is. This is the end of the arguments of Iyov's friends here in chapter 25.